Self-awareness of the original spirit. BD number 7569. April 5, 1960. Every original spirit regains its self-awareness when it lives as a human being on earth and recognizes itself as a human being. Then all the small particles of soul, which were once dissolved for the purpose of return through creation, are gathered in the spirit again, and then the being will be able to acquire the degree of maturity which it originally possessed as a created spirit, which it had renounced and now has to regain in order to enter the spiritual kingdom as a spirit of light. And thus every human being is an embodied original spirit, a once fallen being, my eternal love's product of creation, which had merely left me of its own free will and therefore also has to return to me again of its own choice. But the human being does not know what he was, what he is and what he should become again. He first needs a certain level of maturity before he can receive and understand this knowledge. He certainly recognizes himself as a human being soon enough but not as a spiritual being that is to fulfill its purpose, and since he only recognizes himself as a human being living on earth, his thoughts are more directed towards the world. And this usually prevents spiritual awareness which he will only experience when he turns away from the world towards the spiritual kingdom. Then it is possible to inform him of his real purpose, and then he will be able to accept and adjust to it voluntarily, which will certainly result in his full spiritual maturity. However, once he has accepted it he will also be happy at the thought and the certainty of belonging to the original spirits which I externalized as living creations and which return to me as children, and as human beings are therefore approaching their perfection. And only the human will needs to be good, because then it will focus on me of its own accord. The human being asks for his God and Creator, and this resolve is already the right decision. It will have passed the test of will which confronts the original spirit as human being on earth. Life on this earth does not last long, but it can fully suffice for a person to spiritualize himself so completely that he acquires the degree which results in the childship to God, that is, which returns the original spirit into a state of perfection again. On account of his resolve he will have achieved the highest degree himself and can then stay in closest proximity to me where the direct emanation of my love is assured to him. Even though every original spirit will be able to ascend ever higher once he is allowed to enter the kingdom of light, provided the right decision of will was made on earth. And every original spirit is ecstatically happy when he becomes aware of the infinitely long path he had traveled in order to achieve the greatest abundance of light, in order to be immensely blissful. And he will sing my praises and give thanks and glorify me eternally. He will be and remain my child which will never leave me again, which will create and shape in accordance with my will for its own happiness. Amen.